We are talking softball again on Cards TV with head coach Sandy Pearsall. I'm Sean Moth. Thank you for watching, and not to mount any more pressure than is already there, but we are talking with the head coach of the only remaining undefeated team in the nation at 27-0. The Cards host Big East, and more importantly than the 27-0, you open Big East play with 3 wins, and ultimately that's really what you needed to do.
Yeah, we did a great job, and it wasn't easy. We really had to grind it out, I have to say. That was a very good Pitt team. They've improved. They have some very good hitters on their team. Their freshman pitcher, King, she did a tremendous job against us, I thought. And we just struggled a little bit. We're at that middle of the season, and there's those moments that you have to find a way to get things done, and luckily we're still doing that, but it's a little harder than it was, say, 3 weeks ago.
Well, and I think there's a lot of teams, in talking with baseball, whose season kind of mirrors yours, that you get to Big East and, okay, it's the second season and you refresh. Yeah. There wasn't anything to refresh. You guys were 24-0, and so maybe it was just that much more difficult to keep that focus. But all 3 wins this weekend against Pitt were come from behind.
Yeah, and I think for us it's that confidence that we are capable of doing that, and that's the confidence that we have as a team. I think that's the thing that kind of hurts Pitt a little bit. They're a very good team, but they've struggled towards the end of the game, evidently, just to win those kind of close-knit games. When they break through, they're going to be very good because they are a good team. So.
In the doubleheader, I think I want to say Chelsea Leonard picked up saves in both games of the doubleheader. You had good starting efforts from Tori Collins and Carolisa Cannell, and you needed Chelsea to come in and seal things off, and it's just so great to see that balance from your pitching staff.
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate in having 3 pitchers because it allows us to do some things. All 3 of them have done great things for us at different times. And Chelsea definitely comes in as a great relief pitcher for us and is doing a tremendous job there. I think that's helping us to continue to roll on because we're not really using up any of our pitchers. We're kind of spreading out the wealth a little bit, and that's been great for our pitching staff.
Innings are definitely down for all of them, and that can't help but be a benefit. Cards were actually on TV on Sunday on WHAS, and it was a chance for the sweep. That undefeated season was on the line, and I guess you thank Jordy Trimble for coming through in the clutch. I mean, it was a team that was down 1-0, and she was able to push 2 across, I think, in the 6th inning to get that win. Yeah,
it was bottom of the 6th, and, she struggled a little bit this weekend. It wasn't the most prettiest weekend offensively for Jordy, but when we really needed her, when we really needed that hit, she came through for us with that double to score 2 runs and, ultimately give us that win. So, again, that whole inning, we did some great things.
Yeah.
We started off with a good hit, then, we get a walk and there's an error in there. That all those things helped us a little bit.
Sure.
But again, Jordy Trimble coming through was huge for us right there. And then coming back out and Tori Collins shutting them down.
Yeah.
That we needed from her.
No question. And you know what? It's the teams that stay undefeated are the teams that win games like that. It doesn't matter what the other team does. And as we said, Pitt had a great squad, but they weren't able to get the wins. The Cards did. Now you go into I don't want to say a gauntlet because that's a little overstated for a team that's had such a great start as you, but it's a really tough part of your schedule, and that you'll have Kentucky on Wednesday, and then you'll head to Chicago to play traditional power DePaul Saturday, Sunday, and we'll talk about it on our next show, but that's followed by another matchup with Kentucky, so 5 really good games on the schedule.
Yeah, it is, and it is a tough 7-day stretch for us, but it's a great challenge, I think, for our team, and it's always a great rivalry with Kentucky, so this will be a great game. And it's just kind of ironic it's happening at the same time, the Final Four.
The same week.
It's kind of an interesting little setup, and certainly not something we did when we scheduled. We just look for open dates. But
sure.
And then DePaul on the weekend is really hot right now. They're swinging their bats extremely well, pitching pretty well. It's going to be a tough matchup. It's always tough up at DePaul. There's always this long rivalry we've had ever since Conference USA days. So I expect this weekend to be a great weekend, and we're going to have to bring a little more offense to the table, I think, this weekend if we want to come out on top.
And whether you go into DePaul undefeated or not, depending on how things go with Kentucky, ultimately your goal is to win 2 out of 3 and keep the conference, that first place spot in conference alive.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tough conference year, and I mean, with DePaul being in that mix, with South Florida really rolling very hard right now. They're just looking great. And, there's always Syracuse in the picture, always Notre Dame in the picture. And then you never know, a Pitt, a Rutgers, those teams can all come up at any time and be in that mix.
Yep. We know how good coaches are, though. She's worried about inning number 1 against Kentucky. That's all we can think about, and we wish you and the team best of luck and safe travel.
Great. Thank you.
For Sandy Pearsall, I'm Sean Moth. we hope you follow along on UofLSports.com, maybe even subscribe to Twitter, and you can keep track of what's going on with the Cardinal softball team. And we will talk again next week here on Cards TV.